You do not need to warm up before exercise if you are exercising correctly. Now I know what most of you are probably already thinking, which is that, what is this guy talking about? Is he crazy? Everyone knows that you need to warm up before exercise. It's dangerous if you don't. It increases your risk of injury, right? Well, I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, because in most cases, you would actually kinda be right. Hello everyone, my name is Alphonse. Here we talk about how to maximize your results from your training with as little risk of injury, and with as little time spent in the gym as possible. As you can see, I'm far from the biggest guy giving fitness advice on YouTube, but I'm an absolute mega super nerd when it comes to exercise, and I've been obsessed with learning as much about exercise as I possibly can ever since I got obsessed at it at age 14. And so hopefully, if you're humble enough to listen to someone like me who isn't absolutely huge, then I could definitely teach you some stuff and hopefully help you to make some better progress in the gym and avoid spinning your wheels, making little to no progress like I first did when I first started training and knew nothing about this stuff. In today's video, we are going to be discussing why you do not need to warm up before exercise if you're actually exercising properly to begin with. First, we are going to go through why a warm-up can be beneficial in some cases, but why it's not necessary if you're actually exercising properly. And then I'm also going to go through what I actually mean when I'm talking about proper exercise. After that, we're going to talk about the biggest reason why people actually do get injured while exercising. And lastly, we're going to talk about why the warm-up actually is kind of built in to the set itself if you do it correctly. But anyways, let's get into the video. If you look at the way that most people exercise, which is usually with pretty damn terrible form, using lots of momentum, and they're basically just trying to move as much weight as possible for as many reps as possible while just letting the form just completely get thrown out the window. Or you look at other athletic activities which involve very high momentum, high force movements, then in those cases it would make sense to perform a warm-up in order to kind of prepare the muscles and the joints for that. But in proper exercise, we don't have that same risk of injury as we have in these other activities or in poorly performed exercise, because we are applying force gradually and moving in a slow and controlled manner, and we are using a rep cadence which is slow and controlled, and I would recommend at least 4 seconds up and 4 seconds down. And so therefore we are minimizing acceleration, and so we don't have these huge potentially harmful peak forces. And if you're using a load which allows you to achieve momentary muscular failure within about 1 to 2 minutes, and you are using proper form, of course, then the net forces that your body is going to be exposed to in the exercise are going to be well within safe levels. And so a warm-up would not be necessary in that case, assuming that you have normal healthy joints. And the biggest reason why people actually do injure themselves while exercising isn't because they're using too much weight, because if they were using proper form, then they wouldn't be able to use that much weight anyway. So this is how it is. If you use very good form, then you are not going to injure yourself whether you have warmed up or not. But if you are using very poor form, or you are choosing exercises that are just inherently dangerous, that involve things like rapid acceleration or moving in and out of positions that could be potentially harmful to the joints, then you are still going to be likely to injure yourself even if you warmed up. A warm-up, if you're using very poor form, is probably not going to save you from the types of injuries that people typically sustain from, exercising. It might prevent some pulls or strains, but it's probably not going to save you from the types of, sometimes very serious injuries that people sustain from exercising. Plus, if you are exercising correctly and you are using a time on a load where you can achieve momentary muscle failure within about 1 to 2 minutes, like I said earlier, and you're using, a slow controlled rep cadence and you're using proper form, then in that case, all of the benefits that you would get from a warm-up, you are going to get in the first 1 to 2 repetitions of your set anyways. All of these things like increased blood flow to the muscles, lubrication, getting synovial fluid into the joint, priming of the motor nerves and all this stuff. All of these benefits that you would get otherwise from a warm-up set, you are going to get from the first 1 to 2 reps of your set anyways, if you are doing it correctly. And by the way, just to clarify, when I'm saying exercise, I'm not talking about competitive lifting. Exercise and competitive lifting are two completely different things. If you are practicing a competitive lift and you are going to do maybe a set of heavy doubles or triples and you're going to perform it in the same style that you would do in a competition, then in that case, it would probably be a good idea to perform a couple of warm-up sets beforehand, because you're going straight to those, heavy 2-3 reps, and you're doing it in a way which is a little bit less safe. Now, real quick, before I get to the end of the video, I just wanted to add that even though I said that a warm-up isn't necessary if you exercise properly, and that's all true, it's still okay to perform a couple of practice reps if you feel that you need to. And this would be performed with a very, very light weight, and it wouldn't even be considered a warm-up, it would just be to familiarize yourself with the movement pattern of the exercise if you feel like you need to. But anyways, with having clarified that, now you hopefully understand why we don't need to perform a warm-up before exercise if you actually exercise correctly to begin with and you have normal, healthy joints. And if you want to learn more about exercising correctly, then you can check out the other videos on my channel. I have lots of videos that cover, everything around this topic. I have videos on how to create your own workout program, how to perform a set properly, and a bunch of stuff like this. So go check that out if that sounds interesting. Also, if you want to, don't forget to join my free Telegram channel where I talk about just more fitness stuff pretty much, and also some other stuff that just gets on my mind that isn't fitness related. But there you can actually ask questions in the comments about things that you want me to specifically talk about and make voice notes about, and I'll actually talk about it. So make sure to join that if that also sounds interesting. But with that being said, I hope you guys liked this video and I hope you found it useful. If you did, then don't forget to leave at least a like on this video. It really supports the channel. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, then also don't forget to click that subscribe and ring that notification bell so you can be notified the next time I upload. But with that being said, I'll see you boys in the next video next time. Peace.